this video tutorial, I would like to take you through the performance evaluation process and the steps needed to get to the next belt. We'll go through the white belt since this is the first one, but the other belts follow the same pattern. If needed, I will make another video for later belts. The purpose of this performance evaluation process is to provide a consistent and a fair way to conduct performance evaluation. More importantly, develop an educational curriculum and a system that will allow people who are motivated and willing to learn a way to grow and progress in a consistent manner. Start by opening your Excel sheet. On the bottom, you will see here the tabs for each level. Each of those tabs correspond to your belt level. In this case, the Patient Care Specialist Level 1. As a refresher, you can click here on the positions, and if you're not sure whether you are a patient care specialist or a clinical care specialist, you can look at the diagram here. If you are a dental assistant by training, you would be moving up this clinical stream, being a clinical care specialist. If you don't have a dental assisting background, you would move up here, the business stream, the patient care specialist. The first section here in Excel sheet represents your grade and whether or not you passed or if there's more work needed. This is the summary of the entire evaluation below. Your grade consists of 4 areas: knowledge, skills, attitude, and results. At the white level, 40% of your grade will be based on your knowledge, 20% on skills, 30% on your attitude, and 10% on your actual performance. Why do we do this? We can't just have a simple performance evaluation. The objective of this is to help each individual to grow as far and as quickly as possible. Whether it's dental assisting, hygiene, reception, any other subject, music, sports, or anything else you do in life, success is a journey of effective learning. In order for you to be able to perform, you need to be first given the tools, the knowledge, and the training. Otherwise, you will not succeed. What we've built here, it's not a checklist of what I'm doing good or what I'm doing bad, but rather a curriculum that you would find in an educational institution consisting of 4 components that are needed to success. Let's look at the Patient Care Specialist 1 to see the same content here as you saw in an Excel sheet. There's the overview and the 4 things that you need to do, the 4 ways you're going to be evaluated: the knowledge, skills, attitude, and results. Let's talk about knowledge. Go back to our Excel sheet. The first area, knowledge. Let's use the analogy of soccer. In order to be a good soccer player, you first have to know what soccer is. This is the knowledge component. You have to know that it's being played on the field, there's a ball, and the objective of the game is to put the ball in the net using your feet. You learn about offsides, you learn there's 2 halves of 45 minutes, and you learn that you can't tackle people the way you would do in American football. Once you understand the rules of the game, then you can start playing it. Same idea in a dental office. There are a lot of rules and protocols and procedures that you have to know first before you can start learning anything else. We're not going to throw all the rules on you right away, and that's why we have different belt levels. You start learning with the most important rules first, and then with time, once everything sinks in and you're able to put it to practice, we'll introduce more protocols and procedures. Let's look again at the knowledge page. So when you click here, we get to the PCS 1 page. Here on the bottom, you have all of the links that correspond to the pages that you need to know at the PCS 1 level. You can click on them one by one and go through the content. For some questions, you only need to select the practice you're working in, and most of the content is generic for all practices. Now, another important thing, going back to the knowledge, go back to the patient care specialist page, is that you only study the content that is relevant to you. When you see here, you have the level, in this case PCS1. Because it's built like a wiki, there are a lot of links that will take you to other pages. You're welcome to read them, but be careful. You don't want to go through the whole database, through all the information, before you're writing your first quiz. Everything that you need to know for the quiz, you're going to find it right here on the knowledge page. You don't need to know anything else. Every single question that's going to be on the quiz, it's going to be here in these sections. Once you start clicking on them, when you open it, each of those links will take you to another page. Again, we see here, this is a PCS1 page. Some pages are very basic. There's not a lot of information, like this one. And other pages have more information. We strongly recommend that you complete the questions on the bottom. This will help to ensure that you understand the content. The content's not hard, but when you don't do the questions, you will not do well on the quiz. Let's talk about the quiz. You click here on your Excel sheet. It will take you to the page that describes all quizzes, including the belt you're on. You scroll up here, you can find all the information about quizzes. First thing first, there's a video that you can watch that will provide more information about studying techniques and the quiz itself. Once you have gone through all the material, you are ready to write the online quiz, contact Maria. All the material that is on the quiz is in the questions. If you do your questions and send the questions to Maria, she will not only mark them, but you will also be compensated for the questions. If you do the study questions, you'll do well on the exam. However, only if you send the questions to her, questions that are written on paper, the traditional way, only those questions will be compensated. So you can either give her the papers or you can take a screenshot and send it to her. If you send her typed answers, they will not be eligible for the bonus. Each study question has a unique number. So when you're doing the answers, you don't need to reference the page on which the question was. However, you will need to reference the number. So in each question, there is a number here. So, for example, if you had a question like this, are we allowed to eat other people's foods in the fridge? There is a number here. So your answer, you put in the number, 2023, and your answer. So when you submit those questions to Maria, make sure they're done in this format. Otherwise, she will not be able to mark them, and you will lose the benefit of learning. The quiz at each belt is different. For example, go back to writing the quiz. get the white belt, it's a 15-minute online quiz consisting of multiple choice, true and false, and short answer questions. The passing grade is 85, and there's additional bonus if you get 90%. If we look here on the Excel sheet, there's a link that tells you, let's go back to Excel, when you go under the belt system, you can see exactly what that bonus for each level would be. So for instance, for white, because it's so easy, you need to get 85 to pass, but you will not get a bonus until you hit 90. If you get over 90, you will get an additional bonus. So what happens if you don't get the 85%? You get to write it again. There is no limit on the number of times you can write the quiz, but to get the bonus that corresponds to 90%, you will have to achieve it in your first 2 tries. Don't get 85% in your first 2 tries, and you must submit your questions. And it's all written here. On the quiz. So if you don't get 85% on your first 2 tries, you will have to resubmit you will have to submit your questions. The reason why we do this is if you haven't done well on your first 2 times, it has something to do with you not understanding the concept. And we want to make sure that you understand the concept. If you feel that the time is not enough, you can ask to have a written exam at the office. In order to have that option, you must complete the questions on paper prior to writing the quiz. We want everyone to get full value from the learning, and that's why we encourage everybody to do the questions, and that's why we have a bonus for completing them. So the belt system, you see in this column, there's a bonus just for doing your questions. The questions on the quiz are going to be exactly like these questions, your practice study questions. So if you've done these questions, you should get a very good grade on the quiz easily. So it's a win-win-win. You get a bonus for doing the questions. We mark it for you, meaning essentially you have all the answers. Then you get another bonus for writing the same answers as you already did on the quiz. And then you get to increase your compensation. I think we're really nice people. By looking at the knowledge pages, you can see every single question that's going to be on the quiz. So because you have all the answers, I do want to talk about academic honesty. It is an online quiz, and in order for us to be able to continue to offer it online, we have to make sure the integrity of this examination is protected. First, this is not an open book test, meaning that you shouldn't be using any other material, nor should you be getting any help from anybody. Once you get the quiz back, you will be given the correct answer. We believe this is a necessity, as it enhances the learning experience. You're not to share them with anybody. Same when it comes to your study questions. You shouldn't be sharing that with anybody else. It's not only that's cheating, but it also takes the opportunity from the other person to learn. It is also a waste of time because the other people will not be writing the same quiz as you are anyway. And if you are rewriting your quiz, you will not be writing the same quiz twice. Let's talk about the next section, the skills. We define skills as the attributes that can be taught. Skills is something that you will get better through training, learning, and experience. Back to our soccer analogy, skills are your speed, your endurance, ability to kick, to pass, to shoot, all those things that come to you with hard practice and work. Don't be overwhelmed with the number of skills that we have here. You're not responsible for all of them at this point. At the white belt, you only need a couple of these skills. When we go back to Excel, these are the only two that are relevant to your belt: technology and verbal communication. So when you click this, you'll see exactly what you're responsible for at the white belt. Right here are the things that you need to know. It may seem a bit wordy, but it's important that expectations are clearly laid out so that we know exactly what it is that we're able to do at each belt level. What you will need to do is go through them one by one and rate yourself out of 10 based on how well you think you do. This is an opportunity to identify any gaps or skills you need more help with, and also to ensure that you have the skills needed to be successful. And we are going to do the same on our end. Ideally, those two numbers should be close. If there is a gap, we can discuss it. Either you are doing much better than you think, or there is a difference between our expectations and your perception of your performance. Again, this is an opportunity to identify these areas and ensure that we give you the support and help to master these skills. There are two more areas called bonus, other skills, and rainmaking. Other skills is when you have skills that are not mentioned in the categories above, but it's something that you know how to do, so you get a bonus that's worth 5% of your grade. And rainmaking refers to bringing people to the practice to become patients. In other words, when you refer your family and friends, you will get a bonus, another 5%. The next section is called attitude. The main difference between these skills and attitude is that skills, it's something that could be taught. Attitude is something that you possess and it's a part of you. This is not something that we teach. The nice thing is that you can make a decision that you want to be good at these things. And if you're dedicated and disciplined, you can be very good in those areas. Using the soccer analogy, this is your desire to win, your ability to be a team player, ability to motivate yourself, keep up the spirits of others, even in the toughest situations. Again, at this point, we are only looking at very few, and with time, that list will grow. And we also have here a bonus. If you're a very social person, you're going to get a bonus. Why? Because it is part of our brand. Under the attitude, again, you have various categories, and by clicking, you can see the links of what it is that you're being evaluated at every level. So when it comes to friendliness, our expectation at the white belt of friendliness is much different than on a blue belt or a black belt. So you should do very well in those areas. The last part is called results. Notice that your actual performance is a very small part of that performance review. It consists of certain tasks that you need to complete at your belt level. There are certain videos that you need to watch to help you solidify some of the concepts. And then we have this. Now these areas, again, if we click here on performance, it will take you to a page like this. It looks very similar to the knowledge page. The difference is it's usually shorter. So whether you go to this page and click here, or if you go here and click on any of those areas, on the bottom, you will see a part called performance. So knowledge is what you know, performance is what you're actually doing. So for example, printing forms, in knowledge, we teach you what are patient forms and which patient forms need to be printed. We gotta make sure you have the skills, the computer skills, that you know how to print. You have the attitude that you're not afraid to ask for help in case those forms are not being printed. And then performance, we evaluate if those forms are in fact printed. And if somebody asks for them, that they are available. It's important that you actually do the things that you were taught to. If you've done very well in all three parts, knowledge, skills, and attitude, then results should be just a piece of cake. You should be able to master and do very well in those areas. If you're not performing in some of these areas, it's either because there is a missing gap, either in the knowledge, skills, or attitude. Either because you don't know how to properly do something, or you don't have the skills, or there's some other mental block that prevents you from achieving the success. Our goal through this process is to ensure that any of those blocks are eliminated so that you can perform to your highest possibility. So you see, the performance evaluation in this structure will allow us to identify the root causes for you not doing well in certain areas, and will allow us to put together a plan to help you in those areas so that you can be the best you can be. If we were to focus on the performance only, then it would become extremely frustrating as you will not be able to improve. If the performance review only focuses on the results, it will not help you to be a better player. It's like telling a soccer player who's not scoring that they need to score or they need to run faster. That doesn't help them. It doesn't help them because they already know what they're doing wrong. They just can't find a way to fix those problems. In our system, we'll look at ways that we can help you to master every task, every skill, everything that needs to be done in a dental office. A dental practice is a very complicated and sophisticated place, and only by breaking it up into small pieces and working on those individual pieces and putting it all together will lead to success. Alternatively, as it is in most dental practices, they plateau and feel stuck. Sometimes they jump ship to go to another practice, but quickly realize that's a short path leading to another dead end. We don't like dead ends, and we don't like plateaus. And this system is designed to bring people to the top, the people that want it.